Welcome to week 3 of Diary of a Double. And this is a year-round series where Antonio Argüelles from Mexico City will be explaining how he trains and how he prepares for his 67-kilometer two-way crossing of the English Channel. He's going to start in England, swim to France, turn around, and swim back to England. Welcome, Antonio.
Muy buenos días, Steven. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches to everybody, wherever you are in the world. It's wonderful to be with you this Saturday, talking about week 3. We only have about 52 more weeks.
Yeah. So this is week 3. So just so people can understand, you had to do a lockdown, so you couldn't swim for a long time, as did many people around the world. But now you're in week 3. And week 3 was a little complicated for you. You had some travel, you had some new places to go. Can you explain right now where you are and what place did you swim in today?
Right now, I'm in the north part of Mexico. My wife, Lucia, was born in Monterrey, in the state of Nuevo León, which is in the border with Texas, almost to the, almost on the east side, almost to the, close to the ocean. One state there is Tamaulipas, and that's the ocean. And I'm here, and I was very happy, Stephen, because I went swimming in a dam. And I've been coming to Monterrey for many, many years. And this dam, I was always there because I'm in Lucia's family's ranch, and we're up in a hill, and you can see the trees, and underneath over there is the dam. So I had been coming here for many, many years, and I would say I want to go to swim with the dam, and today I finally did it. But you know what? It's really interesting for our viewers, those that do open water swimming in cold water, is that every time I go into an ocean or a lake or places where I swim, it's usually very cold. And today the water was 29 degrees Celsius. So it was like getting into a pool. It was just a very strange feeling that I was here in a dam, which was usually a very cold, where I swim in La Jolla or San Francisco. And here it's 29 degrees. So we did about 5 kilometers. And the other thing that was really interesting is that I hadn't swum in a dam for many, many years. The water is very heavy. It's not the same thing as swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
You feel it's more difficult. I don't know how, the best way to explain it is that you feel heavier in that kind of water.
Yeah, and the reason why is when you swim in the ocean, you're swimming in salt water, and your body is literally higher up on the water. In freshwater, where you're swimming in a dam, it's the freshwater doesn't have the same amount of salt, so your body is actually lower in the water. And we estimate that can be anywhere from about 1 centimeter lower. So basically, there's a lot of water that you're having to push through. That's why you feel heavy. You're literally deeper in the water than before. So how was the 5 kilometers?
I was fine, but usually my cruising speed in the ocean is about 2 minutes per 100 meters, and today was about between 2:15 and 2:20. So I'm very happy that you tell me all of this, Stephen, because now I felt I was getting older very soon and that I was getting slow very soon. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, no, you'll definitely feel faster, and you will be rising higher in the water when you get back into the ocean. And then also where you are was complicated. I mean, you had to make a choice this week. Typically you do your long swims on a certain day, and this week you had to change, correct?
Yeah, you know what happened, Stephen, is that I had to travel on Thursday, and I was coming here to Monterrey. We had a family event. My sister-in-law passed away about a month ago, and we had her funeral. So it's been a long weekend with the family, Lucia's family, and Alejandra was very loved by all of us. And so I wanted to have my long swim out of my mind, because it's very complicated when you're in this kind of events to say I have to go and swim and do these kind of kilometers. So on Thursday morning, I went and swam at Las Estacas, and I did my long swim on Thursday. So that meant I had to get up about very early, about 3:30 in the morning, to be able to drive all the way to Las Estacas. And then we flew from Mexico City, and we got to my brother-in-law. I went to bed at around 11:30 that day. And then the next morning, to be able to go to swim in a pool in Monterey, I had to be there at 5 o'clock, because that was the schedule. You know, I could swim for 2 hours, but I wanted to be at 5 o'clock. So imagine with that, the previous day was very hard. I didn't get any sleep. So on Friday, when I get to the pool and I look at the, you know, I swim my warm up, and usually I can, to me, my warm up tells me how my swim is going to be. I mean, I can feel if I get really easily into a pace, and I just didn't have it. And I didn't have it this morning either, in terms of being able to swim fast. And one thing that a choice that I have to make is either go and swim the kilometers, the mileage that Rafa wanted me to do, or swim fast. And this is something that many times I hear some of my swimming friends, that they get very uptight and very anxious, because they don't do the sets at what the coaches want in terms of the time and how fast they have to go. And to me, it's always better to do the mileage than doing the speed. You know, there's some days that the speed just doesn't come, and that doesn't mean anything. So you have to adapt, and in adapting, you have to understand that you're swimming and you're behaving in an uncontrolled environment, because usually you control the environment where you are.
Yeah. And so how far was this long swim on Thursday?
6 kilometers. So we went to Las Estacas. In Las Estacas, we do 1 kilometer downhill, which is really nice, and then 1 kilometer against the current. And that's how we train there. And you know, all September, Rafa has told me that we're just trying to keep to get the flow of my swim. You know, we're not concerned about, you know, doing sets in the long swims, and we're just, you know, trying to get back into pace, basically.
How are your shoulders and back and muscles? Are you over soreness, or are you still feeling some soreness?
No, this week, usually it's my right arm who gets sore, and it has been improving. It's been improving. I'm waiting for my Katsu equipment. I'm sure once I get Katsu, my shoulders are going to be better. But it's moving along. One thing is, I haven't been doing any weights yet. Rafa told me that we won't do any weights until October. We're just doing, as I told you last week, working with my weight.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're swimming, you know, you're long, it's 6 kilometers. And during this time, obviously, you would like to eat something or drink something. And that's a big question that a lot of people have. If I'm training, if I'm going to do a channel swim or marathon swim, what do I eat? What do I drink? And for you, Antonio, what is your formula?
Yeah, if I'm going to swim between 1 and 2 hours, I just make sure that I have enough water. You know, that's I don't know, when we were young, I remember swimming at the Ansan, swimming at Stanford, and nobody brought water to the pool. Remember that? Nobody. And I remember, you know, and I don't know why it never occurred to anybody, not the coaches, not the other swimmers, you know, that you should drink water. I mean, I remember finishing the workouts, and I was just so thirsty. It was incredible. And now, fortunately, people know they have to, even in the pool, you have to get to drink water. And when I do longer swims, more than 2 hours, I eat something called Axel gel, which is a combination of carbohydrates and protein, and that helps me. And this is something that, as you mentioned, is something that works for me. And for other people, they don't like Axel gel. The same way I don't like Maxime. I drink Maxime and it go really, really fast because my blood sugar goes wild. So that's what I do. That's what I drink and I eat during my long workouts.
On your gel, do you have a favorite flavor?
Yeah, I like strawberry, and then there's another one that's red. This kiwi with strawberry.
Kiwi.
And I don't like chocolate. You know what? I don't like chocolate. You know, it tastes. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It says chocolate in the label, but it doesn't taste like chocolate. So I don't like chocolate.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I actually wanted, if I wanted chocolate when I swam, I wanted chocolate. I didn't want it chocolate flavored. I actually wanted the chocolate. And I remember eating small little Snickers bars, chocolate with caramel. And
Yeah.
I liked it because the chocolate would stick in your mouth and then it would take a little bit of time for the chocolate to go away. So that was a little bit of a motivation for me to have chocolate on my swims.
Yeah, that was a treat. Yes, that. I haven't eaten it. You know, I ate so many Snickers and Milky Ways when I was a swimmer. Once I finished swimming in you know, in my younger age, I haven't had a Snicker in years. The next time I see one, I will buy one, and we'll share it in one of our talks on a Saturday.
Yeah. And you had to make me laugh because all the great swimmers in world history in the 20th century, nobody stopped for their 2 or 3 or 4 hour workouts for water. I mean, Mark Spitz, Debbie Meyer, all Penny Dean, we just swam up and back the pool. Nobody had any water bottles or gels. And I remember after a workout, the athletes would get out of the water and it would be a big line by the drinking fountain because everybody was so thirsty and they would all be drinking water. So, but on your swim, 67, you did a 64-kilometer two-way crossing of Catalina, and now you're going to do a 67-kilometer two-way crossing of English Channel. What did you eat during Catalina?
During the swim?
During the swim itself.
During the swim, the only thing I drink, the first hour, I don't stop for feeding. You know, I try to get into rhythm and don't waste the stop. And then in the first hour, I drink 375 milliliters of water and 1 Oxy gel. And that's what I drank for 24 hours.
Really?
Yeah. When we got to Catalina allows you to stay in the beach for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So you go out and you can stand on the beach. And Dan Simonelli was, you know, he was kayaking for me, and we trained how those 10 minutes were going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of those 10 minutes, and I'd like to tell people what happened, because I didn't know what it was going to be to go back. I mean, it was my first time of a double. I had swum 23 hours in Molokai, but that was different. I mean, this is just, you got to Catalina, you have to go back. So we put a mat and I lay down on the beach. I did some stretching. I drank water. And then I had a soup. I have a special soup that Rafa, who not only is he a coach and a great photographer and a great friend, but he's a great cook. So we designed a soup that is just, it has chicken, just like chicken broth and a lot of vegetables. And it was just, we take everything away, all the solids, and I just keep the juice, the soup, and I drank that. Then I did 2 minutes of mental concentration, just to block my mind and relax for 2 minutes. Don't think about anything. Drank more soup, drank water, and get back into the water. And that was fabulous, because it was really, really changed my, I got back with energy into the water. I called Mike Oram, and I was thinking that I was going to do the double this summer because of confinement, I couldn't do it. And I asked Mike what the rules are, and the rules in the English Channel are totally different. You arrive, you have to get out, be the water under your knees, and you have to go back into the water, and you have 10 minutes, where you cannot stay on the beach. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I adapt now those 10 minutes, what I'm going to do with those. You know, Sally grabbed meat. She told me that she brushed her teeth, and you know, they left something on the beach, and so when she got into the water, she brushed her teeth and ate something solid. I like the soup. I like the soup. I will get the recipe, and I will share it with everybody. Next week, I think next week we'll share the recipe with all our friends, because when the water is cold, it's really nice to get that warm feeling of the soup. So that's what happened in Catalina.
Yeah.
But the rest of the feeding was just Axel gel and water.
Got it. Got it. Now for you, that Axel gel works very well. For other people, it may be something different. But I think the key point here is that you practiced. You practice exactly your feeding schedule, your 10-minute rest on shore, and obviously the training that you required. And that was the key. That's why you're successful, because you practice exactly what you're going to execute on your swim day. That's marvelous.
Yeah, that's a key. And another thing that happened with the feeding is that when the first time I did a long swim many years ago, Nora gave me Maxine, and my blood levels went really down, and I was almost fading. I guess it was just too much carbohydrate. So what I did, I have a doctor, a friend of mine, is a doctor. She's a part of my crew, and she always goes on the boat. And we did a test for 6 hours, and she would take blood every hour and see how my parameters were functioning.
Oh, wow.
And that's how we define Axel gel every half hour. Because at the beginning I was taking it every 45 minutes or every hour. And then I had my downs. Remember that what people talk about the wall?
Yeah.
It's just because the blood sugar you know, what you need is that the energy that you have in your body and in your blood works perfect, that you're having spikes. You know, I do once a year, I do that test with Ariadna, just to make sure that things are working, that things are in place.
Wow, very good. Very good. And then you also post on Instagram, and I believe you got a question from a gentleman named Lee from Australia. Do you want to address his question?
Yeah, Lee Newman asked me 3 things. The first one is that, remember last week we were talking about doing 12.5 and then 37.5, and I didn't mention it was meters. And he thought it was minutes.
Okay.
It was just meters. Yeah, it's a set that I do, you know, for 600 or 800 meters, and I change the distances of the recovery. It can be 12.5, 25, or 37.5, and that's something that I did. He also asked me about the feeding, and I'm glad I was able to talk about it. And he was asking me about my dry land exercises, and he asked me if I could post them on my Facebook or do an Instagram. And you know, if it's okay with you, Steven, maybe I'll ask Rafa to do a 1 minute clip, a 1.5 minute clip with the six themes that we think it's important for open water swimming.
Yes.
Safety, strength, technique, and the other 3. And we'll be sharing that with people as well, so they know what we were doing, and then they could ask more questions if they need.
Yeah, great. And I know that you you know, you're there with your family and your in-laws, and you're trying to celebrate her life, but mentally, are you very excited still, and enthusiasm is still there? And
For the double?
for the double, yes, of course.
Oh no, that never goes.
Okay.
No. That you know what it is? This is the beauty well, for me, is the beauty of open water swimming. Is that it cannot be fast. No, you can't. You cannot decide you're gonna do the English Channel or any of the Ocean 7, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow, or next week, or no. It takes time.
Yeah.
You need to get the reservation, and you need to prepare. And then the other thing is, you need to train, and every day you have to remind yourself that you're gonna be facing a very tough ocean. And when it hurts in the workout, when you don't want to get up, when the different excuses that you can put around training and getting ready, you have to think that if you're going to do it today, it's going to be missing the day you swim. No, I'm very excited. You know what? You gave me something very important besides our friendship. You know how much I care about our friendship. But you asked me one day what I wanted to do when I was 90 years old. And that I want to go and swim with my granddaughter or grandson, Catalina. Maybe not with 90, maybe about 80 or 80. Well, hopefully they like to swim. But even if they don't swim, they're going to be in a kayak or they're going to be on the boat. And I want to do that. And to be able to do that, I have to keep on training every day for at least 20 more years, Steven.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We'll be here following you. So,
thank you, Steven.
Yeah, thank you very much. So this is week 3 is finished, and we've got about 52 more weeks. Good luck, Antonio.
Gracias. Dios.
Adios.